holes of golf.
That's a lot, man. And
It was a lot.
like there's only about 6 weeks a year where you could even do that, right? You'd need the sun to come up at 6:30
Yes.
and for it to go down at like 9:15.
Yeah.
That, by all accounts, is the Michael Jordan lifestyle 365 days a year.
Yes.
That he plays his own course, the Grove, down in South Florida. He has a cart, allegedly, that goes about 60 miles an hour, and this guy just loops the course and never waits because anyone that sees him goes, go ahead, play through. Like, and a lot of times, like, again, this is all hearsay, but he'll be on his own and he'll play 45 holes in like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And just
hammer
cruise around.
beers and cigars.
Yeah, beers, cigars, stop and chat every once in a while when he sees someone he knows.
Dude, another guy like that, he was on the senior tour for a while, and my course in South Florida, he was a member, Dana Quigley. This guy teed it all day long, man. Giant gar, and just teed it every day.
Yeah.
And it was also his job. Like, he would go play all the events, and when he was back in West Palm, this guy teed it from morning until the sun went down.
Oh, what a life, man. What a life.
Dude, I got a question for you, and I just got to get to the bottom of this. I went and hit some balls today. Why do you and your cronies take your own golf carts? It is the dumbest looking thing. You guys do not ride together in golf carts. You're like, why?
We're the last breed that never accepted COVID came to an end. Because COVID remember you had to drive in your own car.
I know, but wouldn't you like to just shoot the breeze with the guy, talk about...
No, because those guys are out there every single day, right? I'm not there every day, but those guys, we see each other all the time. T-deck, on the green, you're chatting, around the green guy, right? There's chats.
But who made kind of the group announcement where it was like, guys, we're taking our own carts and we just don't need, like,
it was
somebody, I know, but somebody had to make it official where it's like, this is how we're going to roll.
It was never announced. It was just it never rolled back to normal. Right, because it started. Remember in COVID.
Okay, so when things slowed down, didn't you say to Tux one day, "Hey, pal, you want to ride with me today?"
No,
and he was like,
"He doesn't want to ride with me, and I don't want to ride with him."
So, how many carts are we dealing with here?
Dude,
4.
there was 5. I saw 5 today. There must have been
There's
a
4.
fifth guy.
No, we had a foursome going.
It's a traffic jam. Then.
Yeah, there's 4. As far as I know, we're the only guys to do it. I mean, I'm sure other people possibly do it, but our thought is it costs the same anyway, whether you share it or not. So it's like, all right, I got my own thing.
I know, but what I want is the reason for it. Do you guys find you play faster, or is it just you all like your own little personal space?
Yeah,
and
it's more about a personal space thing. You can look at your own phone, do your own thing. It's funny because there's one of our kind of regular guys will walk sometimes, so he'll throw his bag on someone's cart for like a couple of holes, and everyone's kind of like,
wouldn't allow it.
What's this guy doing, man?
What's wrong with that? Like the bag doesn't have...
Because then you're on his program, then. You're like, I got to go to his ball. I got to wait for him.
There's your answer. A lot of it is, I'm going where I'm going. You're alive. You go where you're going. I'm not doing a drop-off.
Right?
A lot of it is, there's some selfish behavior in there, I guess. But it works. It works for us. It looks, I understand what you're saying, because we will cruise through the, like make the turn, and there's people around. They're like, those are 4 guys in 4 individual carts. It's like a Trump routine almost.
I was just going to say, you remember, was it last year you would call O Trump, where like O would hit and he'd be long gone.
Out of there. And that's a part of it too, dude. You would appreciate it, because there are times I'm up at the green and the other guys are back there shooting, and I'm gunning. I'm like, I'll meet you up there, and I can get out and get ready. I can meet you on the green. But there's a lot of conversing. There's a lot of socializing.
No, there isn't, dude. Like, when you're all in your own carts, it's all you say is good putt or good shot. Like, that's it. There's no chitter chatter.
Yeah, there's not a ton of deep conversation.
Yeah, like when I play golf, I play with my best friends a lot, and we love sitting in the cart, wind, shots, how's things go.
I'll give it a shot. I'll ask.
No, I know you won't, because if you guys are still doing it, COVID was 5 years ago, bro.
I know. It's absurd behavior. Like we understand it's silly, and I'm sure it looks ridiculous, but That's the way we operate.
See, I'm perplexed here because, I didn't think you were so super social when it comes to golf. I've heard that you are all business. It's like hit your shot and move on. Like, I didn't realize you like to sit in the cart and chit-chat.
Well, and he likes to drive the cart, too, Noodles. Like, that's another element.
Dude, I will never be a
Exactly.
passer. Everyone that plays with, I am driving
I
the
hate
golf
being driven around. That's the thing. I don't love it either. It's just, it's awkward.
What do you care?
It's just, there's something about it. It's like, oh, okay, this guy's driving. Oh, you're going over here now? And it's aggravating when some guy turns left and you're like, actually, my ball's over here.
I know.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I'll broach the topic and we'll see if we can get everyone going together.
Let's just cold call Tux if we've got 10 minutes and
Okay.
just see what his philosophy
He might have a
about
better answer on it than me, but it's just,
Yeah.
I don't remember it ever coming up. It just
It's
consistently
probably
happened.
a routine that you've done,
You've
and
had
you
a
just
routine.
haven't switched it back. You
Doesn't change.
probably had a
Hey, last thing
pre-COVID-
on this.
Yes,
last
exactly,
thing on this.
Noodles.
What if it
Exactly.
came to a vote and everyone said, write an answer on a piece of paper and put it in a golf hat? Do we continue to go solo carts, or do we want to?
I can tell you it would be unanimous.
It would be a
solo
yes. It would be a yes.
It would be an overwhelming majority solo card. But we'll ask. I'll get to the bottom of it.
Hey, it's something
see.
I've never seen, man.
Yeah, it is
It's
kind of
very
bizarre
unique,
behavior.
and that's how you guys roll. You gotta stick
Well, when
with
are you
it,
going to
man.
join us? We're waiting for you. You got to get in there. Solo cart. You'd be cruising around.
Dude,
doing
you
your
let me
thing.
know. But the one thing I always you got your buddies. You do your own thing. I do not need to interfere with your
I
time.
want you in there. We all want you in there. There's always spots. It's just
Yeah.
it's
Well,
not 7:30. You're a 7 a.m. guy, 7:30 guy. That's not.
Once
the
in
way
a
it
while,
generally
I
works.
can work
Okay.
out whatever
All right.
you guys do, and I'll
We'll
get my
solo
own
cart it
cart, and
together.
it'll be
Actually,
it'll
me
be
and you, same cart. Now, when you come out, we're riding, but I'm
No,
driving.
I don't want to do
driving,
it.
but I'll
I
drive
don't
you
want to
around.
do it because I'm going to feel like I got to drive, and you're
No,
going to
no,
be
no.
annoyed the whole day. And I know you can be annoyed easy. I'm not. I refuse to do
Never.
it.
All right. We were talking about the Cup final, though, a lot.
Yeah.
And what the sense, you talk about a sense, I will say this. There's still this kind of, I don't know if I can believe in Freddie Anderson routine kind of lurking.
Who's saying that? Wow.
It's still out there. And I'm with you, Noodles. Like, this guy has been phenomenal through
Yeah.
13 games. 12 of 13, he's been great. The one game
Yeah.
he wasn't great. The rest of the team stunk. They lost. Yeah, I guess you're saying that's probably unfair, but it's a scenario where I guess the reasoning is it's been kind of easy. To the credit of his team, they've made his life very easy. Like
Yeah.
Freddie Anderson, he's had to make the stops, but he hasn't been overwhelmed. I would have to think if I'm John Tortorella, I'm telling my team, and I'm sure St. Louis said it. I'm sure Travis Green was saying it. I'm sure Rick Tocchet was saying it. Try to make this guy make 30 stops tonight.
Yeah.
Like, force him to make 30 saves.
But is that even possible?
Well, the way Carolina plays, it hasn't been through 13 games.
Yeah.
But that, and maybe Carter Hart should get the same treatment. Maybe, he's never won a Stanley Cup.
Don't you
He's never
guys
been in
think
the
it's going to
spot.
be probably the biggest key that which one of these two guys who don't have, track records of stellar play in the playoffs, they're kind of unproven to get this far. So
Right.
whatever guy bubble doesn't burst, it might be the difference in the series. Because everyone watched Carter Hart and they're like, man, this guy's incredible right now. And he had some bad teams in Philadelphia, but I don't know. It's going to be a massive key in the series. As far as Freddie goes, and Jamie, you know better than anyone, I think sometimes as a goaltender, you just get to a certain age where you're like overripe mature-wise, and you're just like, screw it, man. It's either do it or don't, or I'll never
play.
do it. And maybe it's just go play, and I got confidence. I got a great team in front of me, and I'm going to stop worrying about everything else because it seems like that's what he did a lot in the past.
I think that's fair. You get to a maturation level where it's like you are comfortable with how you play, how you prepare, how you handle the ups and downs, and within a game, after a game, before a game. That's the one thing that has kind of been lost in all of this. And, we brought it up slightly when we were talking about Marner and all. Keep in mind, we've watched players, and let's leave Mitch out of it. Everybody. We've watched players grow up in front of our eyes, from the start of their career to mid-level to the end of their career. We've been around that long. And you can see, a lot of these guys change as they get more experience, they get more comfortable in tougher situations. So coming back to Freddie Anderson or any goaltender who's a veteran, they know how to get to their game quick. I remember talking to a goalie who was 35 years old and kind of getting flushed out of the league, and he said to me, and I thought it was an amazing comment, he said, I've never been a better goaltender than I am now, and I'm going to be out of the league. Because he said he felt like he could handle the mental duress.
I know the goalie you're talking about.
Oh, yeah?
Can I guess?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Curtis McElhaney.
I think I told that story before.
No, I swear to God you didn't.
It was
No, you
C-Mac. And C-Mac's a great friend of mine. And what happened was I think the Leafs had waived him. And he was a really
Jerry
good
Sparks.
goaltender. Yeah, and they took Jerry Sparks over him. And he went on and won a couple cups, I think, in Tampa.
Yes, I believe you're right.
But he had found his game, and I
he really
talked
did,
to a lot
Jamie.
and they were really good. But that's the thing. Like when you get to an age where you can still handle it physically, but you can handle it mentally, it's impressive. That's that sweet spot. Maybe Freddie's in that sweet spot right now, mentally and physically, because he looks really good.
Sure does. And, on FanDuel right now, the favorites to win the Conn Smythe, Mitch Marner, plus 180, Frederik Andersen, plus 200. So, the two heavy favorites on both teams are former Leafs. Yet, they're not alone. I know Leaf fans, of course, are going to say, what are we thinking here? I don't get the impression in Dallas they're rattled that they have Rantanen instead of Stankoven. Stankoven's been phenomenal, clearly, but Mikko Rantanen, I think, is going to pay off pretty well for them.
Yeah.
But I am curious about the Taylor Hall, how people look back on Taylor Hall, in his career. And obviously, he was famously traded 1-for-1, and Adam Larson isn't in Edmonton anymore, and he hasn't been for a while. And that was a long time ago, and who knows what Taylor Hall would have turned into if he stuck around there. But does Edmonton say, what were we thinking? Did we make a mistake there? If Taylor Hall keeps playing like this and ends up winning, is that a missing piece that never should have left Edmonton?
Taylor Hall, the way I look at it is he played with Connor McDavid and it didn't really work out. They were both going a zillion miles an hour, and the team was like, I don't know if this is going to work out. So they moved off of Taylor Hall, and they felt they needed to strengthen their D. So they pulled the trigger on Taylor Hall for Adam Larson, which at the time I thought was bizarro world. Did anyone else not think?
It was a crazy trade. It was a wild trade, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Larson's kind of a 3-4, and Taylor Hall, what always hurts is when the better player in a trade goes on and has success. Taylor Hall
won a Hart.
He went on and won a Hart. And he won a Hart with 90 points, 91 points. But the argument was he had 40 more points than Heischer at the time, right? I think Heischer had like 50 points.
Yeah, they got they backdoored into the playoffs unexpectedly.
And that was a down year for, we'll call it candidates in the Hart, and Taylor Hall deserved it. And it's interesting. I thought about that today because Joe from the Bridge threw it in there. What if he won the Conn Smythe? What if he was up for the Conn Smythe? Because he might be in there, right?
He's third in terms of odds, plus 650 on FanDuel.
So think of this.
It's a big cup final and they win. He could definitely win the Conn Smythe.
Yep.
So if he has a great cup final and wins the Conn Smythe, he would win a Conn Smythe, a Hart, all of that type of stuff, the hardware. Mm-hmm. But my question would be, is there a clear cut? Usually right now at this time, there's always a clear cut. Right now, it seems to be Mitch Marner. Mm-hmm. From Carolina, I think it's a coin toss because how well they've played as a group. And that's the difference. There's no clear cut where we've seen in past years, it's like, hey, it's McDavid or Bobrovsky, or it's name some guys in the last, Kucherov or whatever. Kucherov's got 30 points or 25. You look at it right now, it's kind of mirrors Taylor Hall. If he wins this, it might mirror the way that he won a Hart. He
very similar. It's Freddie, Taylor Hall, Stankoven, Jackson Blake. Yeah. Those are the four guys kind of in contention. And I think that's valid, and I think that's a testament to what Carolina has accomplished here, that it has been more about the system, the style. And I think Rod Brindamore's got a lot of stake here in terms of his reputation and his legacy. Sure. If he can close this out and win, he launches himself into that conversation of being the best coach in the league. Maybe he's there already, but I think people might lean Cooper because he's got the 2 cups, or lean, I don't know, Bednar or something like that, but because they've got a Stanley Cup. Or if Brind'Amour and the Canes can pull this off in the style in which they've been playing, I think that's going to go a long way in boosting his legacy and what he represents in the league. But it really is. I think it's a crapshoot. I think the Conn Smythe is still up for grabs, on both sides. I think Marner's the pace car. I think Freddie makes sense because he's played very well and hasn't given up anything. And when you're 12-1 and don't give up goals, the goalie's going to get a lot of love for that, and deservedly so.
Yeah.
But I think beyond that, it really is up for grabs. I don't know who number 2 on Vegas would be necessarily. Maybe Carter Hart.
Dorofeev, maybe? This guy's got 10 or 11 goals, right?
Yep. Jack Eichel, obviously is a name and is a guy that is more than capable of having a big cup final and possibly stealing something. But, we're going to find all these answers out in the next couple of weeks. We'll find out, who boosted their legacy, who got the cup, who got the Conn Smythe, who folded in a cup final. It's kind of amazing that there's still a lot at stake here, even though 30 teams are gone. 30 teams are out, and those players, their legacies aren't changing. Yet there's a team full of guys who will go up, a team that may go down. The uncertainty of the future of John Tortorella, there's just a million storylines going into the Cup final.
You're right about the legacy thing, Hayes, because I always think a lot about getting to the finals, and you just think, if I could have caught fire for 10 days, ripped home it seems like not doable, but if I had ripped home 2 hat tricks and somehow helped it's the legacy thing is there. Mm-hmm. Instead of being a guy that led their team in scoring in the playoffs, you're just out of it. And the other side is that you could have been a guy that helped your team win a Stanley Cup championship. It's massive stuff.
It's crazy.
Well,
to fight this much and get here, yet you still got to you got to finish now.
Yeah.
Well, there is one scenario here, and I don't disagree with what Joe put in there, but I also thought of this. If, say, Marner, who's clear-cut on the Vegas side, has a great final but still loses, you could still have a Conn Smythe winner.
Do you see a McDavid scenario with him? He hasn't been that great.
I know, but what if there's just no clear cut on Carolina where it's literally been by committee? Do you just go, oh, well, hey, we'll give it to this guy who had
I don't know
6
if Mitch
goals
I don't know if Mitch
assists,
has gone Jesus like McDavid did.
I understand that.
It was just like Taylor Hall's point total compared to the – McDavid was just – his points were outrageous. It was so dominant where – he was getting it no matter what.
And they got back to a Game 7 after being down 0-3.
But, again, there's different pathways here. I'm trying to remember. Was it Jiggy that won it in Anaheim when they lost?
Yeah,
and I think Hextall in 87.
Yes.
But
McDavid, that's it,
McDavid,
I think.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Maybe Vachon won it. I think there might have been 3 goalies who lost in the Cup final.
That's a blast from the past.
I think it might have been. I don't know why I pulled that name.
Where'd you pull stinky old Rogie out of it?
I was just going to say, what's wrong with this guy?
Tell me I'm wrong. I feel like in the mid-'70s, I think against the Flyers maybe,
Doogie,
75 Cup final.
Pull up Rogie.
Dude, if I pulled this out, it's one of the all-time great pulls.
You do have an amazing callback. You do have, O and I laugh about it, where it's we'll say something and man, wasn't that the 1978 second round Montreal Canadiens? You're like, what? Where did that come from?
Dude, if Rogie won it against Philly in 75, I will lose it.
Doogie, did Rogie win it?
I don't know why I'm pulling that.
No, he didn't, you idiot.
He didn't win anything.
Just making things up.
JP off the top turnbuckle just said, no,
You're
he didn't win it.
absolutely incorrect on that. So, Hextall, Giguère, McDavid. Maybe there's only been 3.
Wow.
But anyway, listen, it's an interesting case to make that, from Carolina's standpoint, there isn't that clear-cut leader. I don't think Marner, he has not been anywhere close to what McDavid was a couple years ago.
I agree.
And he'd have to be outrageous in the finals. He'd have to have 14 points in 7 games and they lose in a heartbreaker. And, we'll see. I'm not holding my breath on that, though. I think whoever wins ends up with the Conn Smythe. Some of the awards are starting to come out, though. Zach Werenski won the Norris. That was announced today. I think that's deserved. I thought he had a phenomenal year. The amount of minutes he played. Now, they didn't make the playoffs, which is always interesting with certain certain awards, right?
That was one thing that I think you're guilty of that, Hayes, of getting in my head when it comes to that, because I have
like Rogie Vachon won the
Rogie, that and the Conn. No, but I do agree with you where I think it carries weight if you can get your team into the playoffs. We talked about Celebrini for Hart, and I had Celebrini for Hart, but I had him farther down because if the team didn't make the playoffs. I think I had Werenski at 4, which I should have had him higher technically, and maybe 3, but I'd have to look. But maybe he would have been higher if his team had the playoffs. And that's the thing. I think I had Dahlin at 1 and Bouchard at 2 and Werenski at 3.
Dahlin had a phenomenal year. Phenomenal.
I think there's when you look at it, there's not a bad choice. There was 4 or 5 guys that you could actually make an argument for and could see that. Lane Hudson, another one, had an unbelievable season. But, in the end, I don't think it's a bad choice. He's a fantastic player.
He had a great year. Yeah, he had a phenomenal year. He plays a ton of minutes, every scenario, put up huge points and numbers.
Yeah.
And in large part was the reason they were kind of knocking on the door down the stretch. So, shout out to Zach Werenski for winning the Norris. All right, Eric Stahl on the show this afternoon. We'll catch up with Eric. Obviously, he won a Stanley Cup in Carolina. His brother is the captain of the Carolina Hurricanes. So Eric Stahl is coming up. We got Mike Johnson. We got Confirm or Deny. Jay's back in action tonight. The Memorial this week. We'll get to that. And we got picks coming up. We got the NBA Finals starting tomorrow. There's a coach hiring out in Vancouver. There's a lot going on around the league. So a lot to get into today. OverDrive off and running, TSN 1050 and up on TSN 5.
To turn the lights down low, rolling up my sleeve. Right now I'm in my zone. Put your eyes on me.
This summer, the greatest show on earth takes over Canada.
It's been years in the making.
The RBC Canadian Open on TSN and TSN Plus.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Drive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. Eric Stahl coming up in a few moments. We've got Mike Johnson, Confirm or Deny in about an hour, where we will ask whether or not Manny Malhotra getting that gig out in Vancouver is going to have any effect on who they pick with that 3rd pick overall. Yeah. Because it is going to be a pretty wild scene considering his son Caleb is expected to go somewhere in the top 5.
Yeah, it'd be weird. I'm not going to lie. It would be a weird vibe. I talked about my old roommate, Kevin Deneen, and him playing for his dad, Bill, in Philadelphia back in the day. But just nowadays, it would be – and apparently that was one of the questions that was brought up in the interview from Ryan Johnson. Like, what do you – I don't know. It's a weird play because guys talk. Guys sit on the back of the bus. They go for a beer, and they talk about the coach, and not everybody loves the coach. So it would definitely be a different vibe. I don't know.
It's very hard, too, because ask Adam Lowry, who was the captain of Winnipeg, and his dad, Dave, took over there in an interim. Adam Lowry is an unbelievable human. Dave's a great human as well. But it's hard because when you're an established NHL player, or in this case, trying to be an established NHL player, and your dad's the coach, that's it's just another layer of maybe pressure that you don't want. But if knowing Manny, and I don't know if you guys know him, he's a great guy, and he's pretty laid back and very, very cerebral, very smart. I'm sure that family would be able to handle it because if the kid's anything like the dad, pretty solid humans. It's just more about the baggage what comes with it on the outside.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Part.
Like Adam Lowry had established himself in the league.
Yes.
I believe was already the captain.
Long before Dave took over.
Yes, and Dave, it was an end of the season. Paul Maurice is out. Someone's got to get us home for 20 games. Very different situation from first head coaching gig because it's also about Manny, too. It's not just about the kid.
No kidding.
If you're Manny Malhotra, and this is your first job ever as a head coach in the league.
Yeah.
And the next one is, if that kid if you go 3rd overall to a Canadian team, that market's going to go nuts for him. Clearly, it would deserve it. But the microscope is so much different in Vancouver in 2026 than Philadelphia in 1987
Right.
or whatever. I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I don't believe Kevin went third overall, to Philly and then walked right in with his dad behind the bench. It's an incredibly different dynamic. Does he go back to junior? Does he stay? Does Manny make a call on that? Like, I know management has to be involved. It just seems like a complicating relationship that almost feels unnecessary.
Guys study coach, like the coaches know the players and they know who's serious or not. And if there was ever an instant, and I'm not saying this would ever happen, but undeserved power play time or something like that, the guys would be like, "This guy's not a serious coach, man. That guy's just out there because you know what I mean." Like,
Absolutely.
yes.
Or the
it would happen.
opposite, though. Or the opposite. Hey, the kid's killing it, and Manny isn't going to play him because
They
he
would
doesn't
say
wanna
you're
show
not
him.
serious too because you're just trying to prove a point, not putting him out there.
Right.
It's a very difficult scenario to be in.
Yeah.
How about the intangibles? Guys get caught out after curfew or something like that, and he's there. Like, right? What did you see? Sorry, Dad, didn't see.
Well, and who are
anything,
you living with? If you're 18 and in Vancouver, probably with the head coach.
You, when you're 18 coming into the NHL, and we've got a guy on the line who learned from great veterans how to conduct themselves in the National Hockey League. Ask him.
Okay. Here he is, one of the great Carolina Hurricanes of all time, because of his mentors when he arrived, Eric Stahl. Is that a true statement, Eric?
Make sure you got $1,000 cash on you at all times. That's right from O-Dog. Yep. And I could still guess his bank pin. I could tell you it right now if you want it on air. I could let everybody know his pin.
What is it?
I won't say it.
So what does that mean? He'd give you his card and say, "Go get me cash"?
No, I vividly remember going through the bank, like through the ATM with O in the back, and I put his card in. I think I was 18, and I was like, "What's the code?" He's like, "Guess it," and then so I put in the code, and I guessed it correctly. And then I think that was around the time when he said you got to make sure you have $1,000 cash on you at all times in the NHL. If you're a national leaguer.
I like it. Well, it seemed like it served you pretty well, didn't it? That kind of advice.
Yeah. Well, I believe it. Yeah, you never know where you're going to be, and who you got to make sure you're treating well. So it was good advice.
Okay. Well, O also just told us at 4 that prior to his Cup final in 2002. About 48 hours before puck drop, he played 80 holes of golf to prepare for the Cup final. What was your preparation like in 2006?
A little different than that. I don't know. We came right off of Game 7, so it was a Game 7 win at home against Buffalo. And I think we started right after that. So no golf for me. I was keeping it pretty dialed at that time.
As you should, absolutely, with Eric Stahl. So we're just discussing, the uniqueness of what could happen in Vancouver. Manny Malhotra just got hired as the head coach with the Canucks, and his son Caleb is expected to be a high pick. They've got that third pick. The dynamic of, a father-son kind of working together. You've dealt with it in terms of playing with your brothers before. What is that relationship like in the room? Like your brother Jordan's a captain. He's obviously starting another Cup pursuit tonight. But what's it like having brothers on the team and in the room, and how it kind of affects the dynamic of your relationship with your teammates?
Yeah, I mean, I think brothers are probably, I would say, a little different than a father-son combination. But for us, we tried to keep it, you're kind of teammates. You're in the locker room, you're brothers, but you're teammates just like you are with the rest of the guys. And you're treating everyone the same. And we kind of kept it that way over our times of playing together. Obviously off ice and away from the rink, you spend more time together just because of, family reasons and all that goes with it. But in the locker room, we were always, similar with every other guy as we were with each other in the games. Maybe, when I was with Mark and he's on defense and I was forward, we maybe yelled back and forth at each other a little bit more than with Jordan and I, just because the D are always the ones that screw things up. And then other than that, we were pretty much, similar, as far as any other teammate goes.
You ever have one of those brotherly pissing matches where you want to beat the hell out of each other, either in practice or in the dressing room or something like that, Stolly?
No, we had a lot. I mean, even when I was the old guy at the end, and Mark was too in Florida, we did a little 2-on-2 drill. I remember, and it ended up being him versus me, and we were just like going at each other. I think everyone was. I mean, we were like going at each other hard, but like kind of laughing at the same time. And like everybody that was, and Mo was the coach, and everyone that was there was watching. Look at these two idiot old guys still going at it and being idiots in practice and just competing and whacking each other and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we've had many of those moments, but that's what makes it fun. That's why you're out there. You know, even when you're an old guy, you still get a little, the juices flowing and stick swing at somebody a little bit. And it was a ton of fun. I miss that part.
So, Eric, let's talk about the Buffalo Sabres, the team that you're advising for right now. It's a massive turnaround this season, nice run in the playoffs, something to build on. What did you see the biggest difference this year, once Yarmo took over?
Yeah, well, I actually, even before that, I really liked the way they were training. They had some pretty significant injuries the kind of first couple months of the season, but I just think, the credit to the coaching staff, they stuck with the message of continuing to push those guys to a way to play that was going to bring them to success. And, I think they just, gained confidence in, a few gritty wins there in December. And then when you start to feel that and believe that with the talent that they have and those guys can bring every day, it's, it was no surprise. They had, a good taste of, what it's going to take. They put a lot of work and time in. I was proud of, a lot of their leadership guys to, really, kind of get over that hump of, being back in the mix. And now, now it's like they're hungry for more, and I'm excited for those guys this summer to push themselves and then be ready to go next year because, they're going to be no longer a team kind of under the radar. They're going to be noticed. They've got enough talent and skill, but it takes more than that. And I think they started to believe and understand what it takes in certain situations, what kind of game is presented. You got to be able to play it. And, they had a real solid year, but, bigger things ahead for that, for those group of guys for sure.
We're chatting with Eric Stahl, Cup final, Game 1 tonight, Carolina-Vegas. And I think when we talked about Buffalo throughout the year, we'd referenced their speed, the pace they'd play with. You look at these two teams; they can move. That we've noticed just the animosity, at least from our standpoint, it doesn't seem to be there as much during the playoffs this year. I don't know if you've experienced the same thing with you watching, but is that because the game is just so fast now? Everyone is so dialed in. Like, how would you compare the playoffs of this year maybe to the playoffs when you got into the league 20 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. I think there were moments where there was some serious animosity, and I think once you get later and it gets further down the line in the playoffs, everything is so important and so magnified that there's just so much focus. There's both these two teams that are here at the end are just, they're dialed, they're determined. Their leadership group, they're from their coaches down. They have these guys prepared and ready, and it's going to take a lot to phase either team. And I think that's what you need to be at the end is a team that'll be unfazed regardless. And I think it'll be a test. These it's going to be two really good teams, play similar styles, really fast paced. I will agree. I think from 20 years ago, it's probably a little less mean with some of it around the net, but partly that's with the rule changing and the refereeing, it's, I think it's just extremely fast, really, really competitive and fun to watch. I mean, I think it's been a great playoff to watch, and I think this series is going to be no different.
Stolly, when you played with Roddy, did you think that, nobody knew that he was going to become a coach, but I didn't see him as a head coach. I don't know why. I didn't really see it. Does this surprise you at all, like that he's regarded as the best coach in the league? I know you know how hard he works and what he's all about. I just didn't kind of associate Roddy with being a head coach. Did it surprise you? Does any of this surprise you?
I mean, maybe a little bit, just because the amount of effort and time and work it takes to be a head coach. But then if you say it that way, you're like, well, that's kind of Roddy in anything he does. If he's going to do it, he's gonna be all in and do everything you need to do. And then you add in his his work ethic and his determination, and he kind of walks the walk. And if you have those tools in the NHL in a locker room, you're already ahead of the game. And I think the guys respect him as a person, and know what kind of player he was when he played, and then so his message is easy in that regard. And but he's been doing it a while now, and it's been really impressive. It's impressive that he hasn't wavered. It's impressive that he's continued to adjust this playoff, different moments, making sure his team's prepared different times. So I wouldn't say I was for sure gonna think he was going to be a head coach for this long, but I don't think I'm overly surprised that now that he's in it and doing it, that he's one of the best, because he's just that kind of guy.
With Eric Stahl. So Jordan, again, the captain of the Hurricanes, playing in the Cup final. What are the Stahl family rules when one of you are in a Cup final? Is there interaction? Is there a group chat? Does it get quiet? What happens?
No, there's a group chat. We have a brothers, four of us chat that is pretty consistent. Throughout the whole playoff, especially post game, and nothing like crazy, but and then Jordan and I and Mark actually talked before this round, because they're playing Vegas, and that's who we played with Florida a couple of years ago. So he's kind of asking just certain things as what we did, what we liked and didn't like as far as travel when we were in Vegas, kind of little logistic things. But yeah, we communicate regularly. I'm here down in Raleigh. I'm going to be at the game tonight with my family. My boys weren't going to miss it. They're like, Dad, it's like Stanley Cup Finals is not like, you don't go there every year. Like, we have to be there. And I was like, you're right. We got to be there. So we'll be at the game tonight, and it'll be a lot of fun. We're not staying with them. My mom and dad are, but we're off on our own, kind of giving them space. We visited with them last night for a little bit with the kids, let them run around and have some fun, and then kind of give him his space today. So we're staying somewhere else, but he'll be dialed. He'll be ready. He's excited. I think they're well prepared, and I just hope they start off with a good game tonight.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have both got it in common. You've been in Carolina for a Cup final. Before we get you out of here, I guess set the scene on that. What's the buzz and vibe like down there?
Well, it's pretty good. I mean, we spent a lot of it today at the golf course this morning, which was a lot of fun, and then just driving back to our place. A lot of people with the jerseys on already, and a lot of people walking around with the flags in the cars and whatnot. And I'm sure there have been people tailgating since 9 a.m. and we're going to make our way down there here soon and enjoy some of those festivities. A little less pressure for me, so we'll sit back and try and soak it in and just take in the environment and have some fun. Like I said, it's a special time to be playing and be in the Stanley Cup final. It doesn't happen all the time, so it's going to be exciting. It's a great atmosphere. This building's one of the best as far as just how loud it is and how these fans can get going, especially early. So we're going to enjoy it. Hopefully Jordo's team can get off to a good start and get that first win in Game 1.
$1,000 at all times, kid. Never forget that. And thanks for doing this.
Right on, boys. Be good.
See you, Eric. Great seeing you. There's Eric Stahl. He looked southern relaxed. I was thinking maybe Thunder Bay, but
I thought he was on his porch in Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
Like he looked very comfortable.
That's Carolina relaxed. That's what that looked like. And that's got to be a great vibe when, like, he's got a ring. He went to a Cup final, obviously, with Montreal, with Florida. But you got your ring. He's an all-time great Kane. He gets to go into the rink tonight, probably luxury suite, and hang out.
Dude, you know what I'm happy about for the organization? That guys are starting to realize how awesome it is there. Like, you talk about weather, like, beautiful place to live. Like, if you're into golf, you could, like, some of the best golf in the world. And guys are starting to find it as a destination in the free agent market, because for a long time it was just like, oh, there's those guys down in Carolina.
Yeah.
And, you know, guys would get traded from big markets to come down there and say, oh, this is like Mickey Mouse or that. And they wouldn't last that long. They'd always be gone. And now guys are starting to realize it's an awesome place to play.
That's true. And if you look through, you could, you know, guys that sign their contracts that have no trades or limited no trades. For a while there, Carolina was on the no-trade list. There's certain teams that just are always. I don't think that's the case now. With what they've built, I think it's become a destination where, you know, you look at the coach, the culture, like you just said, all of the intangibles that come with it. But for a while there's certain cities that are just always on the no-trade list just because of either weather or taxes.
You know what's involved now, Jay, and I'm not saying it never was, and I'm not going to comment on it because I don't want to.
Right.
I don't. But the wives are like they have a lot of input on decisions that. You want to talk about like as a family, they're going to a different city. If the wife says no dice, you got a problem on your hands.
Yeah,
which this is the way it is.
The kids are a brand now. Now it's not you're not just acquiring the player; you're acquiring everything that comes with it. Whether if they're married or they're single, the parents involved, all of that type of stuff. It just wasn't that as much when we were playing. It's now it's a bigger money business game now too.
Well, there's so much money now too, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If you get you got to work for it. You've earned it. All these players have earned it. But if you can get your hands on a long-term deal, you're set. You're not just set for life. Like it's beyond that.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
You know, but
it's crazy, Hayes. You're talking about like there's so much money involved now. I laugh to myself when these baseball players like they've come out and said, "We're gonna fight till the end on this salary cap." That like are these guys like? Do they think the owners like you want to go to battle with these guys? Go ahead. You're not going to win.
I think they're going to. Like it just.
Dude, they're
that's
insane.
in
They're
their DNA.
insane.
I hear you, but they've always done it, and it's almost like they have to for the past generations that fought. Like that's the sword they're going to fall on.
Well, if they're smart, you know what they should do, and I'm being dead serious. They should sit down with 10 NHL players that were involved in those negotiations and sit down and put them up on a podium and ask them questions. Jamie,
well,
like you're an example.
Point.
You could be one on the do's and don'ts, and if you're being stupid like this, like it should be player with player. No one else, not your leader, not anyone else. Players with players, just to say, you know, because if you think you're just storming the beach and going to take down these owners, you are sadly mistaken.
And what has also changed is the owners have way more money now too. Like back in the day, there were some owners with some money, but it was
that's right. You're not buying franchises for $200 million anymore. Now it's
billions
$6 billion.
And billions, and they can fight. Mike Johnson, confirm or deny, still coming up. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Mike Johnson, confirm or deny, still to come. I guess A.J. Brown's already out there in New England, like, working with Drake May, and that's quick. Like, that's a quick turnaround. And I haven't seen anything from Myles Garrett out in L.A., but I'm sure he's there, and I'm sure he's loving life. Can guarantee you that. What a life-changing move going
the
from
memes are in
Cleveland
full
to LA.
force, man, of like, you know, it's going from Cleveland to L.A. There's dudes getting out of cars, and those are the best memes of all time.
Yeah. Like, L.A. is just a different world.
Yeah.
And if you're a superstar like him and you're making like $40 million a year,
Well, wasn't A.J. Brown the dude that was reading the book on the sidelines for Philly?
Yeah, he was not happy with the way he and Jalen Hurts. Something happened there.
No, I know, but wasn't he the guy like he was reading the motivation?
I believe so.
I thought that team in Philly, the way they dismantled KC in the Super Bowl, I was like, what the hell's going to stop these guys in the years to come? Like what? Like did they crushed Kansas City? Mm-hmm. And manhandled them. I'm like, these guys are going to win 2 or 3 Super Bowls in the next 5. Yeah, dynasty of some sort.
That way.
And I kind of am guilty of doing that every time a team wins a championship. But it just seems like their coach seems to be controversial. And then the chemistry and the quarterback is under fire. And it all went up in smoke.
Yeah. Yet it's weird because I don't.
But they still win enough games to be the semi-dominant team.
Yeah, they make the playoffs basically every year. Usually they just fade down the stretch. You know, it's happened 2 of the last 3 years, I believe. Yet you say that, and I agree with you. but I don't look at Seattle as a team I expect to win again, win the Super Bowl again.
Right.
And I don't know.
You don't think they come back strong next year and be a team to be reckoned with?
I don't think they repeat as champs. Like they had a phenomenal season, a great team, and they dominated in that Super Bowl, and actually kind of throughout the playoffs. And Sam Darnold, unbelievable, like unreal, and McDaniel the coach, or
you
McDonald
just think
the
it's
coach,
highly
really good
unlikely.
coach. Yeah, but and they got a really young defense. I just feel like someone else is coming for that crown. I don't think New England gets back to a Super Bowl this year. I don't think Seattle does.
I think KC's going to have a year.
They might. Now, Mahomes had surgery, right? Like he's got to get back to 100%. I would assume he will for Week 1. But and I'm curious how Bills fans feel. Like they went out and got DJ Moore, which was kind of a polarizing acquisition. And everyone's been saying, go get a stud wideout. And then New England's like, we'll go grab A.J. Brown. And Brown, when he's healthy and motivated, can play. Like, he is a stud. So that is certainly going to help them and may actually, put the Bills in a tougher position to try to get back into competing for that division. All right, hour 2 coming up. Jays in Atlanta. You got Kevin Gausman on the mound tonight. We've got Game 1 of the Cup Final, Game 1 of the NBA Finals tomorrow. Confirm or deny coming up as well. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Give it up for my man, Gus Boo!
You've accomplished so much.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even really know who I am.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hop on board the Coppenwood Express for hour 2. Get your own cart and let's get boogieing. I have to address something. A guy just sent me a tweet, and he said, O-Dog loved the show, but he said, you got to be a stronger association union brother when it comes to Major League Baseball and stand by their players. MLB has their strongest sports association. Telling them to bend the knee doesn't help them. I'm not telling them to do anything. All I'm telling them is if they want to sit there like we did and say, we're not accepting a salary cap, just not going to happen. We sat out a year and lost $1 billion, and then guess what we accepted? A salary cap. And do you think these guys don't have a good life? You just talked about how much money is involved in hockey. Do they not have a good life? Is it not reasonable? That's all I'm saying if I had any advice to Major League Baseball players. Figure out what's reasonable. You might have to give up on something. There's got to be some give and take, but you're not going to sit there and tell the owners that you can't have a salary cap because they ultimately decide what the hell you're going to do. And if they want a cap, they're going to get a cap.
Yep, and at people's expense. That's the difference. They will still own the team for the most part long after your career is over, the people that are fighting for it. So I think my advice, and having gone through it several times, would say have an open mind. Be open instead of closed and says, we're not accepting this, or this. Have an open mind and try and get to, a common ground. The owners know they're going to have to give something up. They're going to have to give, there's got to be some movement from both sides to get it done. If I had to do it all over again, that's the thing I would say. Let's find common ground so that we can get this done a lot sooner so people can get on with their lives and grow the sport.
And the most important thing, let's do it not for the owners or the players, but for the fans so they don't have to miss a whole season.
Agreed.
Well, that would be ideal, but they're not going to accept anything in June of 26 when this expires in 27.
Agreed.
Players aren't going to do that.
Well, but really, I always said, Hayes, there are pressure points in negotiations. Everybody knows that who does business, especially big business like this. There's no pressure points right now. Nobody's missing a paycheck. But why not lock yourself in some rooms leading up to it so it gets done and still waiting till the last minute? It's ridiculous. I always wondered that. Months would go by, just no communication, no talk, and it's like, what good is this doing for anybody?
Well,
ridiculous.
I hear you. But, again, I think – ultimately, what it's going to come down to is what the owners can stomach in the end. Like, if they are dead set on a cap and they are literally willing to shut the league down for a year, which is something no one else has ever done.
And we don't know that.
No, we don't know that until, like, again, in 04-05, what were there, 28 teams in the league or whatever? Those owners decided, yes, Bettman had them all, around his finger and said, we're not budging. And what the players, you guys would know from experience, eventually realized is they're literally like, we'll miss 2 years, 3 years,
Right.
4. Like, we're not playing ever again unless there's a cap. That is the question. Like, the players are not going to bend. The players are going to fight. They're going to fight until the owners look them in the eye 6 months into next year or a year and a half from now and go, guys, like, we'll literally just not play baseball for 10 years if you want to.
Yeah. And
Like,
you would be
we're
shocked if whatever your perception is of pro athletes and that they just have money falling out of their pockets, you would be surprised at guys that were missing car payments, missing house payments, and guys were like living paycheck to paycheck, and it turned into a circus. And that's how you end up accepting a salary cap, because guys were like, this doesn't work. I'm not earning a living. That's what I always said. Isn't some money better than zero? You want to miss a whole year and make $0? Those guys, the cash that they make,
I hope it doesn't get to that point. At this point, there's no reason to believe it will. I don't personally care. I just want them to play ball. I'm okay with no cap. I don't need a cap. Like, I kind of like the idea of give me a league that's unique and different. The other ones are all the same for the most part. There's some luxury taxes and stuff, but a lot of them, NFL, MLB, NHL, it's a lot of number crunching and bad contract talk and stuff, and it's aggravating. I don't need it. In baseball, it's different. I like the uniqueness of that. But, as for the godfather of lockouts, Gary Bettman, I guess he's speaking to the media in Carolina, and he has said, he's had some preliminary talks about a succession plan when he does retire. Bettman's not a young guy. He's been running the show for over 30 years. And I am curious when that happens, because there's going to be a different commissioner someday, how many things change in the league. To chat about that, among other things, here's our TSN hockey analyst joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Here's Mike Johnson. How you doing, Johnny?
What's up, fellas? Coming alive, yeah. Gary Bettman's doing the presser right behind me here. Hazy, I hate to disappoint you. I don't think anything's going to change. Different personality, but I don't think a new guy's coming in saying, I envision the world of hockey completely different. I think it'll be someone pretty aligned with the way things are going now. And the way things are going right now, regardless of how we got here, are pretty good for the NHL.
Johnny, I want to ask you about the baseball players and their agreement. If you're a smart guy, you've been through lockouts. If you had any advice to Major League Baseball players as far as what they should expect and how to approach this, because mine is just to find something reasonable, how you can have a good life. If you think you're just going to bully anybody, you're not doing it, and you're just going to cost yourself money. What would your advice be?
I would echo those sentiments. Listen, we went through it. I was a player rep in 04. I remember, in the meetings with you, and we will never play. We will miss 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. We'll shut the league down before we get to a salary cap. And we got through year one, which was already kind of stressful enough. And then we just came apart at the seams because guys were not prepared to live any further. And then the cost of doing this, and it's good to do it for future generations, but you also sort of need to take care of yourself and the current generation that you're living in. And if the average career is 3.7 years, you're going to sit out a year and a half of those and flush yourself out. And if you might make, instead of making in the NHL $4 million, you're going to get zero. And, you just can't afford to lose that kind of money. And baseball, the numbers are so staggering. You're missing $25 million. I guess baseball has a very principled stance. They feel like they're the strongest union. They've never lost a labor fight. But I think if I'm a baseball owner, guys, you just look around the league. Look at the franchise values in basketball, in football, in hockey. And I think the salary cap has a lot to do that. And franchise values in baseball would go through the roof. So they could sit out. We might miss $100 million profit. The second we sign a cap-based deal, our franchise value is going up $1 billion. So we can wait forever, much longer than the players can. I'm pro player. I was a player rep. I wanted to get everything the players could. Sometimes the juice is not worth the squeeze. And you got to take the best deal you can get and get on with your life, keep living and making the kind of money they're making.
So I want to follow up with your projection on the next Bettman because, as you know, as a big NBA fan, going from David Stern to Adam Silver was a massive change, like as significant as you can get in terms of being player-friendly, in terms of creating tournaments and you know all these different things that they've done in the league ever since Silver arrived. You don't see that possibly being there for that? Like, if it's Bill Daly, I guess, okay, Bill Daly has worked with Bettman forever. I mean, they're kind of a two-headed monster. But if it's somebody else, like I'm picturing a new commissioner coming in and maybe having a different viewpoint of a second team in Toronto, something Bettman has never entertained. Maybe the new commissioner willing to do that. A playoff immediately is, but that's drastic. Like, Bettman will not change off anything. If someone comes in and looks at one thing differently, I would suggest, I mean, that's more progressive than anything Bettman's done the last 10 years.
No, you're right. You're right. I guess I just assume it's going to be Bill Daly. That's part of my general thought. He's been there for so long, and I don't know if Gary will have a say in who his successor is. I mean, you'd think it'd be the teams, not so much him, but if he has a say, you'd think it'd be someone who'd be sort of sees it the way he does. But the whole, like, Gary Bettman and his dynamic with the owners and the players and the game is so different than it was when we were playing. It is far more collaborative and less combative. And so whoever comes in will be more of that. And you're right, Hayes, you know what? Whether it's games in Europe, whether it's play-in tournaments, whether it's mid-season cups, whether it's anti-draft, tanking, all this NBA stuff they've done, or stuff we can't even think of. Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense that some of that would come through. I just think it's going to be Bill Daly, so he will have been under and with Gary for 30 years, 20 years, whatever it's been, and it will be sort of more of the same.
Yeah, Johnny, I think there could be some tweaks that you could, deem as progressive. Even if it's Bill Daly, they'd be like, yeah, I'll look at that and I'll listen on that instead of just an absolute no where Gary seems to be. But, when you're in Carolina. Let's swing to the game now. What do you make of this? Like, who in the back of your mind has the upper hand here? You've got the very structured Carolina team that's 12-1, and you've got Vegas who, seems to be firing on all cylinders and really doesn't have a weakness as well. Like, and plays a different style. What do you make of it?
Feels to me, Noodles, like this series, if you flesh out the goaltending, I mean, obviously that's the number one factor, but let's just say they're even, they're both playing well. To me, this series feels like the offense of Carolina, that forechecking, that pace, that turnover base, the quick strike attack that they've been overwhelming teams with, versus the defense and structure and maturity of Vegas. And if that defense of Vegas is really good, then they'll get Carolina on counterattack opportunities. And we've seen that as well, not often in the playoffs, but when Carolina breaks down, it can be big. That, to me, is the conversation. There'll probably be some games where Vegas looks like they figured it out. And there'll probably be some moments where Vegas looks like they're getting swarmed by it like everybody else is. I am slightly leaning to Carolina. I guess we'll have to see what happens here in the first game, but without having seen them play each other, they haven't played since October. So it's not like there's any sort of recency game to go off of. I just think if Freddie is healthy and can keep doing what he's doing, so then Vegas no longer has an advantage in net, however good Carter Hart has been. I just think this unique style and the fact that they're so fresh, and Vegas doesn't. The only team that solved Carolina has been the forechecking Panthers, and nobody plays like that. No, like Vegas doesn't play like that. So I just don't know if the solution, however good Vegas is going to be enough to win them a series. So I guess I'm leaning slightly Carolina.
Johnny, Brian Hayes said, regardless of the outcome, Mitch Marner will win the Conn Smythe earlier in the show. Jamie, I don't know why you're laughing. Do you agree with Brian Hayes?
I disagree with Hayes the same way that Connor McDavid will never win another Art Ross. The same sort of disagreement where Hayes likes to throw out these outrageous statements only to be proven wrong in short order. If Vegas wins, yeah, for sure. I think Mitch Marner is the favorite to win. But I think he has to play, though, right? Like, he had a good series, great defensively, 3 points in 4 games, no goals. If he gets 4 points in 6 games, Vegas wins with no goals, he's not going to win the Conn Smythe. It's going to go to Carter Hart. It's going to go to somebody else. So he has to continue his offensive production that he's done in rounds 1 and 2 into round 4. But if Carolina wins, it's Freddie, it's Stankoven, it's Taylor Hall, it's somebody else. It's not going to be Mitch. He's not going to get 40 points. He might end up with 25 or 27. He's not going to be McDavid 40 on a losing team. Well, I don't know, Hazy. Explain yourself.
Yeah.
Justify this outrageous take, please.
It was actually Joe from the Bridge that threw that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Which he's also a brilliant mind.
What about if it's Freddie or Mitch? Either way, ex-Leaf is right now the clear front runner
very likely.
on both sides.
That seems very, very likely that a former Leaf is going to win the Conn Smythe. I think that probably goes, I wouldn't say goes without saying, because you're right. There are other players, like let's say Stankoven has a phenomenal Cup final, or Blake has a great Cup final, or maybe Jack Eichel just has a dominant Cup final. You know, he's still, I think, lurking in the background. So there are other potential options here. But, I mean, the awards are starting to come out. We're going to find out if that McDavid take possibly hit. I mean, if he doesn't win the Hart in the next couple of days, you know, if it goes Kucherov, because we've been saying, Johnny, like Canada can't even get a medal at the Worlds, right? The men and the women silver at the Olympics. Canada loses in the World Juniors. If Kucherov grabs a Hart, Werenski and Americans grab the Norris, I don't think a Canadian's going to win, you know, the Vezina.
We got the Rookie of the Year.
We got the Rookie of the Year. Schaefer, we got the Rookie of the Year. But how would you kind of encapsulate the season that is in terms of Canadian hockey?
I mean, we're still the best country. We got the most players. We got the most good players. You know, I would take our team to win a 7-game series against any country in the world. I would have taken games, the Olympic gold medal final. We play that 10 times. Canada wins that 8 of them. So I you know what, pump the brakes on the major intervention on all things wrong Canadian. Now we might have to revisit, you know, World Junior success and how we approach that tournament, or the World Championship. It's been a few years now, but I don't think it's, you know, we're running out. But the reality is, it's always continuously shifting away from Canadian dominance. Not to the point where we're not most dominant, but it's no longer by as much. There's more Americans, more global players, more high-end Europeans. So yeah, there are fewer. Or there are more other countries involved in the very best of the best, but Canada's still got the most of them all, even if we get shut out of the major awards, I would say.
Okay.
Johnny, yesterday the Leafs hired a chief of staff. What's the chief of staff do in the National League? Talk to me. Talk dirty to me.
I mean, I watch like the West Wing and see what the chief of staff does there. It feels like a very political appointment. I mean, I kind of like the path. He's a player. He went to Yale, I think, to get his MBA. He was working in private equity or hedge fund or something. It's very interesting. I'm sure it has got to do with alignment, vertical integration that you are so fond of. Right?
What about
vertical integration?
Horizontal. Don't forget my horizontal.
Yes, horizontally as well. Is he just like another layer of communication? Is he just someone who can go down to the coach's room as a former player and talk to the GM and talk to the owner or the president? Like I'm not exactly sure what he does.
Hang on a sec. You're telling me a guy with a
jobs.
private equity firm, a guy that worked at a private equity firm is going to go down and talk to a National Hockey League coach? What are you talking about?
Well, he played in the NHL. Like Freddie Hamilton.
Well, he played in the NHL.
I was just going to say, keep in mind, guys, all I could think about is top 50 Dougie, his brother, correct?
Okay.
Of course.
Well, he's in New Jersey, yeah.
Listen, we're not hiring Freddie Hamilton as a precursor to getting Dougie.
Buffer.
Freddie's not that good.
Dougie's
not that good.
I'm not saying
but that's
that,
what it was in Calgary. Noodles, you know. In Calgary, that's basically what it was. Dougie went to Calgary. Freddie sort of had to be considered to go to Calgary as well. So it's not out of the question, but not now, not in Toronto. They may go get Freddie.
Now, if McDavid's brother was the AGM,
listen, if Cam McDavid wants a job in player development, okay, we can have that conversation.
Hold on.
That's different.
Okay, but hold on a second here. I wasn't going that like, okay, they hired Freddie because they want Dougie. But would it not make sense that Dougie would be an upgrade on the back end at some point for that group?
Would you? I say this very respectfully. I had the best conversation with Morgan Riley over the Worlds. He's such a lovely guy. Like, honestly, family, the whole bit.
Yes, we all love
So I almost hate talking about who would you rather have, Dougie Hamilton or Morgan Riley? I put it to you guys. I mean, I think Dougie Hamilton's a better player at this point.
I do too. So that's not a slight on Morgan, but what they need is Morgan, Dougie, and two others. That's what they need. That's the difference. Is they need more players and guys that younger. They need a 26-year-old Dougie Hamilton. They don't need a 32-year-old Dougie Hamilton, but they will take.
Would
him
you
if he's
trade
available.
Matthew Nyes for Simone Nemitz and Dougie Hamilton?
I would look at that.
I don't know about that Nemitz. I mean,
I'm not sure I would either, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Nemitz, but I just
no.
They need to get younger. They need to get better. They need bodies that can move the puck. I just somebody asked me that today. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that, I don't know how good I think Nemitz is, but he's going to get traded at some point. But anyways, it's fascinating. Oh, to your answer, I have not a clue what a chief of staff would do. I love that it's a title I've never heard of in a hockey organization.
Dude, I want it. I want it. I'll just go around. You're fired, and you're hired, and you're fired.
Just walking around with the hammer on everyone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who knows? And like, I don't know. I mean, Brendan Pridden's, like, they've made some changes, but it sounded like they had a bloated front office already. And if they're going to add more and more people, like, you probably will want to subtract people as well. So I just wonder if that's happening as well.
Well, that might be the role of the chief of staff to determine that, right? Like, determine how many
You're not
people
wrong.
are actually
Yes.
on the staff.
Who's doing well, who's doing a good job, and who is necessary and who maybe is not quite as.
They should do that. They should go through and say, what do you do around here? If you're a floater, out you go. Because I think there is, in any corporation, when they go to streamline a little bit, when people let go, you go, what did that person actually do? Because I saw them a lot. I saw them in the lunch line. I saw them at the cafeteria, but I didn't see anything else from them. And I think that's what Freddie Hamilton, the chief of staff, has got to figure out. What the hell did 146 people in the front office do?
Does he get addressed like that? Like, if we were to interview him?
No, you got to call him chief.
Yeah, you introduce him. Chief of staff. He's got a heavy business card. Chief of staff coming in, Velvet Rose part, anywhere he wants to go. He is the man.
The first inaugural, as far as I know.
How old is he? Is he 33? 34. Yeah. That's also young, not to be smart, but sort of like, to have the gravitas to walk into older, more experienced people. And yeah, it's fascinating. I have no idea what it's going to be like.
Can you imagine, Johnny? Can you imagine if he wheeled around in the Top Gun white, like, official gear they wore with the hat? I love it.
Okay.
Chief of staff.
I love that idea. Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you bracing for in terms of the coaching pursuit? Now that we know Manny Malholtra's got the gig in Vancouver, which I don't think anyone's surprised by, but the Leafs, I don't know who they're interviewing, who they're not interviewing. There's a lot of insider wars going on right now. I'm reporting this. No, I reported that. But I don't know what's going on with the Leafs. Are you bracing for impact, or what are you hearing? What are you waiting for?
Feels like if there was a rush, Hayes, it'd be done, right? Like if there was, unless it's a coach that's coaching in the game tonight, and it's not. I don't think Tim Gleason's going to come coach the Maple Leafs or whatever it is. Like I don't think that's the case. Maybe they were flirting with David Carl and he said no, thank you. Maybe they're waiting on Bruce Cassidy to be freed from Vegas at the end of the season. That could be an option, but they'd be bidding with Edmonton presumably for that as well. Maybe LA. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it tells you don't need a coach to run a draft. You don't need a coach. It tells you, Hayes, the coach is not going to be involved or might not be involved in planning the direction of what the team's going to play like next year. Because if the coach is not in place and up and running and familiar by July 1, then he's not involved in shaping the team. He's going to end up coaching, which doesn't seem great. I know he doesn't have to make the calls, but you'd want to have a conversation. Okay, Hayes, you're the coach. You coach this kind of style. Do you like Alex Tuck? Do you like Darren Radish? Do you like whoever it might be? Right. Jason Zucker? Like, what are we doing here? As opposed to you showing up July 15th that here's your team. Hope you like them. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not bracing for anything. It doesn't seem like anything's imminent because if it was, it would be done already.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult to predict in the end, but it's got, the longer it goes, the more it turns into Darko Rajokovic hiring. Where Darko, they were the Raptors were the last team. It was Nurse had left, and everyone else had picked up hirings, and a lot of the old school boys had kind of jumped around the league, and then Darko gets hired, and everyone's like, where did this come from? And that was when they were starting from scratch. Now the Leafs, I presume, look at themselves in a different position because they want to be competitive next year. But I think the longer it goes, the more likely it's going to be someone we were not expecting. Someone not necessarily out of nowhere, but, the main characters right now, it's Cassidy, it's, Carl, if he's willing to listen. Yeah, exactly. Where I wonder if it turns into kind of a Darko 2.0. And
what if it's somebody in the AHL that's either currently coaching still? There's 4 teams left. I know
Maybe.
It sounds like Ryan Craig might be the successor from Henderson might be the successor to Tortorella in Vegas, potentially.
Who's the coach in Toronto? Is it John Gruden?
John Gruden.
The coach of the Marlies?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're playing well. Like, they're still rolling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Night, but at the end of and Gruden's contract's up, but so they'd have to sort that out. But I think there's you look at it there. It might be, to your point, Brian, it might be somebody that we're not thinking about, because did we think that all of a sudden there was going to be a 34-year-old chief of staff? I think John Chaika's going to do things differently, and we should expect to have somebody different.
Oh, who just won the Memorial Cup? The guy in Kitchener. I don't know, maybe UC, yeah. Like, who knows?
Stupid.
Going off the grid.
Stupid not to look at him.
Rick
Be
Youssef.
stupid not to look at him.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it seems like he did a great job there, and they won. So I think you have to look around everywhere. But again, it might be hiring a veteran coach because you're trying to get right back on the horse and be right at it.
Yeah.
But look at what Pittsburgh did with Dan Muse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, Johnny, enjoy yourself down there. Carolina, Vegas.
Hang
game
on
one
a
tonight.
sec, Hazy B. Hang on a sec. Hazy said one more thing, Johnny. Taylor Hall wins the Conn Smythe. He goes right into the Hall of Fame. Agree
That was
or
Joe
dis?
from the bridge.
No, it was him. Agree or disagree?
I disagree, of course. But I bet if you came up with a list of players who won a singular MVP, a Conn Smythe, and a cup, and haven't gone to Hall of Fame, I bet that list might be 0. I bet no player's ever won those 3 things and not gone to the Hall of Fame. Now, Taylor Hall is a unique case. It would be a hell of a career. It's just under 1,000 games, having a great sort of second act here in Carolina, but he's not a Hall of Famer. Hazy, that's a crazy take as well.
Yeah.
Come on
again,
now.
Not mine, but I will
Again,
I'll add this
Hazy,
to it.
I'm terrible.
First overall pick, and they do claim it's not the NHL's Hall of Fame, it's the Hockey Hall of Fame. One of the all-time great junior players, right? Back-to-back Memorial Cups down in Windsor, I believe. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. World Juniors.
No, any international success? Any grown-up international
maybe the
success?
Worlds.
You never played for
Maybe
Canada,
the Worlds.
but never at the best on best.
Not at the Olympics or anything.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, what about this one? One final for you, Johnny.
Okay.
You meet me and Hazy B out at Coppenwood to tee it up, and Hazy says to you, "There's your cart over there, Johnny. You're taking your own cart today because I don't ride with anybody." What would your thoughts on that be?
Sweet. I don't want to ride with you either. Perfect.
Thank you.
I love it.
See?
We're going to
That's
have a
the
quick
type of
round. I'll
mentality
see
I'm
you
looking
at
for.
the green.
Yeah, exactly. We'll chat on the team.
Ignorant.
We'll chat
It's
on the
ignorant.
green.
It's
Everything
ignorant.
in between. It's tour.
I think
tour
it's
rules.
fantastic. Hazy, if we ever go play golf, we're getting 3 carts, and it's going to be amazing.
Yes, I love it. I love it. We're doing it. Lock it in. Thank you, Johnny. Enjoy it down there.
All right, fellas.
Mike Johnson joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. It's time to Toyota check out the Toyota Tacoma and Toyota Tundra pickup trucks, both available as hybrids. Maple Toyota, right near Canada's Wonderland of the Maple Auto Mall. See, that's a normal approach to a very normal procedure.
See,
everyone in their own cart. It's a
I
beautiful
like
thing.
that, but his reasoning is that you could play a faster round because
Yes.
everybody go guess their balls. That's it.
As long as everyone's in play, it's all good. All right, confirm or deny coming up. Game 1 of the Cup final. Jays down in Atlanta starting a series against the Red Hot Braves. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Give it up for my man, Gus Boo!
You've accomplished so much.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even really know who I am.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
I can neither confirm or deny that this is in fact a segment.
Boston trades Andrew Raycroft to Toronto in exchange for the rights to Tuukka Rask.
It's been my honor and a privilege to serve as the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey Club.
It's time for Confirm or Deny.
Do you regret giving all those gentlemen the no trades or no movement clauses?
Well, I can neither confirm or deny that.
I can't confirm or deny.
All right, Confirm or Deny, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP, where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. All right, Confirm or Deny. Statements are made. We go around the table, we confirm them, or we deny them. Very simple stuff. Let's begin with this one. Confirm or deny the Vancouver Canucks hiring Manny Malhotra makes it more likely they'll take his son Caleb third overall?
For some reason, I'm going to confirm it, man. I don't know why, but I just think that there's the connection there, and they probably think they can make it work, so I'm going to confirm the connection. I don't know if I would do it. I don't know the list if he would be the best option at 3. Possibly he would be. I wouldn't do it, but I think they are. Confirm it.
I'm
It's a
denying
weird
it.
answer. It's a weird answer.
No, I know, but it's a tough question because they might have had that conversation saying we're hiring you, but right now we have your son at 5. Our scouts have your son at 5. Are you all right with that? There might be a differing opinion in that room with the scouts, and they might have to argue over saying we're going to hire the guy's dad, but we don't have him. Now, keep in mind, Toronto controls the order of this because if they don't choose McKenna, then that might throw the order off. You know, if McKenna is listed technically at 1 clear, if they choose Stenberg, it's Stenberg, right? I don't want to butcher his
Ivor
name.
Stenberg, yeah.
If they
They're
choose
taking
Stenberg,
Gavin McKenna. I
Okay.
would bet my life they're taking Gavin
but
McKenna.
if they do, great. But there might be that somebody that values at 2, who's at 2. San Jose might not take Stenberg. Maybe they go a defenseman instead of a forward. Like they're again, you have to adjust. I've talked to a few teams that say we've got mock lists. If this, and this happens, this is what we're looking at. You have to be fluid. So I don't think it's a guarantee Vancouver at 3 takes Malhotra. What if San Jose covets him and he goes at 2? Or,
Right.
I think there could be an argument. I've seen these arguments with scouts. Some guys, they love their guys and they fight for them. So I just don't think it's a guarantee. That's the way
I'm going to deny it, but I think the point you're making is, every department within an organization has their own autonomy to make Malhotra, once they're in the room or on the ice, practice, game, that's his world. Free agency, trades, hiring different people, that's the GM's world. When you get to the draft, that's supposed to be the, director of scouting, whatever, obviously in conjunction with the GM, especially with a high pick.
Right.
But I just feel like this is something I would personally avoid. And I don't get the impression like Caleb Malhotra is a lock to be a top 3 pick anyway.
Right.
I think he's obviously a very good player. If he went 3rd, it wouldn't be shocking. But this isn't the equivalent of like if McKenna dropped to 3, well, you have to take him. Like if some kid drops to you, it may still be considered a reach. And I just feel like that would be very complicated to deal with that. A father-son, new coach, rookie coach, 18-year-old rookie in a market like that where they're just going to go nuts for whoever they pick, right? Like same thing in Toronto, same thing in Calgary, same thing in Winnipeg. You get picked in the top 10 in a Canadian city, you're immediately a massively known commodity,
big story,
and immediately under the microscope. And I just feel like that's a complication. I think if the Canucks are smart, you just avoid. Like just pick a defenseman or take Stenberg if he drops to 3, and don't do it. But it would be
I would
a
avoid it
fascinating
too,
story.
Brian. I would avoid it too, man.
It would be a fascinating story if it happens, though. Like truly incredible story where the head coach is now coaching his 3rd overall son, who plays the same position he played.
Dude, now that you just said it out loud to me, it's just too much. It would be too much. First-year head coach, high draft pick, Canadian market. Unless it's overwhelmingly like this guy is so good you got to take him, I would avoid it.
Yeah.
We should call Craig tomorrow. Get Craig on and get his
Craig's
thoughts
high on him. I know that.
Yeah.
Like I've seen.
But just
Craig,
the whole idea, like how
Yeah.
how everything would work and his philosophy as a general manager. Craig Button will be on the show tomorrow.
Well, and San Jose is in a really captivating position because they've got obviously the Golden Goose and Celebrini.
Yeah.
Will Smith is a stud. Misa was second overall last year. Sam Dickinson was 11th overall, I believe, a couple of years ago. They've got, but they're pretty loaded with forwards there.
Yeah.
But if Stenberg is the clear-cut guy and he can play with Celebrini, it's like Celebrini and Stenberg for the next 10 years. Very compelling. I don't know what Will Smith would think on that front.
Right.
But or do you take a defenseman just because that's clearly where they still need some help?
Yeah. They could also flip the pick and get an asset they need for a 25-year-old player that's an impact guy, possibly a defense. Who knows?
Yeah.
The options are
There's a lot of opportunities.
A lot of options for San Jose's in a great spot
and this
right now.
probably is it for a high pick for San Jose. Like if they do things right, they should be competitive.
Right. Be out
in
of
a
it, right?
playoff spot or pushing for playoffs for the next 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
So if you get this one right, it can really launch you into a great position. All right, confirm or deny. Wemby enters the GOAT debate within the next 3 years.
Next year he will be. I totally confirm this. Like if he wins a championship this year, which he will, hunch to you and
Yes.
Frankie Rubes.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be. It's just how different he is, right? Like obviously how awesome he is, but it's just the guy's 6'7", man.
I know, but this is awful for me to
7'4", dude.
Sorry, 7'4".
7'4".
I saw a picture with him and his parents. His dad's 6'7", his mom's 6'4", and he's 7'4".
Crazy.
Yeah. My worry for him is health.
Mm-hmm.
That's what worries me. You see these great players. Eric Lindros, I feel we just saw him on the weekend, so he's fresh in my mind. Had that guy been healthy his whole career, what type of damage could he have done? Like you often wonder because there was a time where, when was it? What year was that? 95 would that have been? Where he was arguably
MVP
the
in
best player.
96, I think it was.
Best
95
player
or 96.
on the planet. Like in a league that had Gretzky and Lemieux, and it was Big E. So I think of this Wemby kid. He has to stay healthy. That's the only thing that scares me for him. I see how big and frail he looks. He looks like he's going to break in half at some point. That's what worries me for him. And I think that's awful to say because I'm not trying to wish on him. That would be my only concern for this guy is, does he have a body that can hold up for 20 years? Like LeBron.
That's what makes LeBron so incredible. Like
exactly.
in 23 years, he never had a major injury.
Right.
He never had a major, nothing. Right. No surgery where he's out for 6 months, nothing. He just kept playing. And I'm going to deny it because of, the GOAT debate is so established now. Jordan, LeBron. Then there's okay, it's Wilt. It should be Bill Russell. It's,
right.
Is Kobe in there? Where does Steph fall in line? 3 years is not enough for me to launch Wemby into that. I think he's got to have a decade before he gets in there.
That's the key then. You guys just mentioned you just said he's got to do it for a decade, and Jamie just said he's worried about his health. So can both things kind of marry each other is a massive thing.
That's where we're going, right?
Yeah.
Now, I will say, Mahomes.
I can buy that.
Mahomes threw his hat in the ring quickly, but it was 5 or 6 years before we really started having that chat, right? And even then, it kind of felt a little bit premature or disrespectful to Brady, but it was man, this guy's already been to how many Super Bowls has he been to? And he's won. I think he's been to 5 and he's won 3.
I'll tell you what, that chatter ended rather abruptly. Where he's gonna win more Super Bowls than Brady.
He's still got a decade to play, though, right? He's still got a decade to play. I don't think
he's going to rip off 5 more Super Bowls.
I don't, but I think he could win 2 or 3. And would you be shocked?
Okay, that's not 7.
I understand, but if he gets to 5, goes to 7 or 8.
You know what? If he gets to 5, they'll just say he's better than Brady anyway. Because when he got to 2 and he was approaching 3, people are like, this guy's already better than Brady.
Yeah.
This guy is the GOAT, which I found completely ridiculous.
Well, and it was subjective in the way that he played the game, right? He was his numbers were crazy, the clutch gene, which Brady clearly had as well. But He's got to get back on the horse. Like Mahomes got to get back on the horse. Confirm or deny, Jeff Hoffman will still be a Blue Jay past the trade deadline.
Absolutely not. Deny. Absolutely not.
Well, it's recency bias.
Last time we saw him, it was just infuriating.
Very difficult timing for you proposing this.
I know. Well, listen, he's got a +6 ERA. His numbers
what's
going
to happen after the next blow up? We're going to get into Tanner Roark territory where you can't toss him out in the mound anymore.
Right. I think that's accurate. I think that's fair. Honestly, I don't think it's an
that's not
overreaction.
being ridiculous. It's not.
He's a blow up away and a blown save or whatever away from legitimately having a designated for assignment.
Dude, that was Roark in Texas one night. He went out there, and it looked like he was just throwing pizzas right down the middle, and guys were rocking him, and they just said, "That's it. That's it, brother."
The thing is with Hoffman, he isn't the reason they lost that game against the Dodgers, but he needed 3 outs, man. And Miguel Rojas hit a home run off you to push it. Like the game, it's 4-3. You're coming in. You got a chance to win the World Series, and that just is not going to leave him,
dude. I'm not kidding you, Brian. I obviously think about things a lot differently than a lot of people. I would have moved away from him after that just for Juju's sake. Do you know what I mean? Just for the symbolism of that and how it went down. And I probably would have guesstimated that it was not going to get a ton better the next year. So if I could have, I would have moved off of him after the World Series. I don't know if anybody – I really don't care if anyone else thinks like that. But that's how I would have played that.
Well, I think, Varland doing what he's doing, they go out there and get Rodgers, who's not like a conventional closer type with the funky delivery, but he's been effective. They were, I'm sure, looking at other options. They didn't pull the trigger on it. But it isn't even about options right now. It's just about Hoffman. And prior to the blow-up in Baltimore on Saturday, again, his numbers, he had a couple of clean sheets, and he looked okay. Yeah. He looked pretty good. And, they removed him from the closing role a month ago, and they've moved him in different positions and put him in different spots, and at times he's looked okay. But blow-ups like that, bloated numbers, a history, a vibe around him that is not uber positive, I'm not sure he gets past the trade deadline.
Yeah,
I'm really not
I don't
sure.
think he does.
I'm not sure. I mean, he's really got to turn it around. Really, that goes without saying. Confirm or deny, the Stanley Cup final goes at least 6 games.
I don't think so. I think it's going to end quickly.
Really? Wow.
I'm confirming this one.
I'm confirming. I think this goes the distance.
You like a 7-game Cup final
6
here?
or 7. I think both teams will have their, get to their game. I think Carolina was squeezed, but, they'll have an off night where Vegas gets to them. I think Vegas is going to try and bully them, too. I think that's the one thing. Stankoven, tough kid and all that. Taylor Hall's had his, questionable hits and all that. Vegas is mean. And that Lazon's going back in. That guy,
big boy.
Yeah, I think Vegas is going to try and be really physical on that. Now, I don't know if that's going to scare Carolina. It's not, because they're not an afraid team, and they'll push back. But I think Vegas wins some games on their skill and physicality. So that even if Carolina wins in 4 or out of 6, gets 4, I think at least Vegas gets 2.
Yeah, I think it's going at least 6.
I think it's going 6.
I think they're both good teams. They're both fresh. They weren't really pushed a lot. They're both healthy.
Yeah.
I think we're going 6 or 7 here. I agree. All right, best bets coming up, and we'll tee up Game 1 of the Cup Final one more time. Jays down in Atlanta. Kevin Gausman on the mound tonight. Take it on the Braves. Overdrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Hurricanes -156 to win Game 1 tonight. It's a lot of juice, but I'm going to lay the juice. I think they got their Game 1 jitters out of the way against Montreal. I don't expect another performance like that. I think they show up ready to play tonight. And they've actually played more recently than Vegas. Vegas, it's been off a while. They're traveling. They're into Carolina. Place will be rocking tonight. It's a big game, but I'm going to lay the juice here and take Carolina. Best bets powered by FanDuel. Same game parlays available for every Stanley Cup final game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 18 plus, physically located in Ontario. So, yeah.
Canes, Brian, have shut down they've shut down their opponent, but it's going to be fascinating with Vegas because they got some real deal players up front.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you realistically limit them to 15 shots a game? I don't know if you're doing that, but they're going to damn well try.
That's been their formula. They managed to do it. Certainly against Philly and Montreal. Montreal, it was extreme. But yeah, it'll be very interesting. Can you do that to Jack Eichel and Mark Stone? I don't know. Those boys are going to lean on you. They're pretty good players that'll fight through a lot.
Do you think there'll be some vitriol at all? I think there might be. I don't think it's going to be right from the drop of the puck, but I think by Game 3, there might be some irritability.
I hope so. It's a Cup final you're playing for here, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to get pissed and hate the other team, when are you going to do it?
Yeah, but if Vegas gets distracted trying to create some backyard brawl that's not there, it's I don't know.
That's true.
Both teams want to do their thing, but Carolina is not they're going to stand up for themselves. You saw Jordan Stahl fight Brady Tkachuk at the start of the game against. They're going to do that stuff, but if you just want to have that approach, I don't think it's the right one. It's like Tort said, they're going to play their own game, but if you just get distracted trying to turn it into some kind of backyard brawl, I don't know if that's the right play either.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think you're right. I think Vegas is going to. They're physical, and I thought they were certainly more physical than Colorado, and I anticipate that they will attempt to do that. But you got to get the puck sometimes, right? Carolina has controlled it basically every game they've played.
Yeah.
We could talk about it tomorrow. We didn't bring up the fact that Chris McFarland just took over Nashville.
Yeah.
That
within
seemed
the division.
But I know, but did that seem like Colorado was fine with that? Like, hey,
that was
we're not
leaked
gonna fire
during
you.
the playoffs, Jamie.
Well,
that was leaked while they were getting their asses kicked against Vegas.
I know, but it just
might have been. I don't know. It just seemed like that whole operation went up in smoke at the same time.
I like Chris a lot. I think he's a really good GM. So Nashville's got themselves a good GM, but Joe Sakic's back in the chair now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting one. We never got to. We can chat more.
No,
about
but
it
you're
tomorrow,
right. And Bednar's coming back, right? That was announced.
It's the right call. I don't think they won. Dominated the league, but they didn't have a good playoff against Vegas. So I think, now shorter leashes next year, but they're still a hell of a team. It's just McFarland put that team together, and all of a sudden he's gone.
Yeah, it's interesting. And within the division, right? Exactly. With that, go to Nashville and good luck,
Yeah.
And Nashville now, they had one GM throughout their existence, and all of a sudden they've had a couple.
Oh, now it's
you got
McFarland.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thought, what happens not only in Nashville, but how Colorado responds to it moving forward. But Bednar not on the table, if you're thinking of that. Leaf fans, Kings fans, whatever. Jared Bednar returning to Colorado. All right, Game 1 of the Cup Final tonight. Jays Braves tonight. It's going to be a great sports night tonight. Tomorrow we got Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We got picks for the Memorial, right? Jack's House in Ohio. That's going to be a great tournament. The RBC Canadian Open right around the corner. We're going to be up there all week. Get out there and get tickets and come see us and see some of the world's best players. A loaded field, absolutely loaded field next week. Cannot wait for that. All right, great stuff. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. And later tonight, you can stream the whole show up on Crave. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
Air Canada, you better get Big E a voucher. You did him dirty. You tried to throw him off the bird. Not just get him in the back. You tried to throw him off, to say you don't have a ticket. Make it right. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.